Hi, this is Pastor Kevin Zufall, and I'd like to thank you for joining me in this seminar on how to have an online presence in a small church. I'm actually the pastor of two small churches, First Baptist Church of Troy, Pennsylvania, and East Troy Baptist Church as well. And you can find out more about those churches at troybaptistchurches.com. So, how do you have an online presence in a small church? And probably with a small budget. Is it possible? I'm here to tell you it's possible. And so we're going to look at some resources that you can take advantage of. You don't need to spend a lot of money to have something really wonderful to offer to the online community around you. I can tell you how I got started. I began pastoring in the very first Sunday of 2020 here in Troy. Little did I know that in just a few short months, we would have an epidemic, we would have, or pandemic as they call it, of COVID, and church would have to close, and we would need to very quickly move into having a more significant online presence. So I learned how to make videos. Did I know what I was doing? Nope. And so I did what I think was the best thing to do, and that is talk to people who know more about stuff than I do. And I found pastor friends of mine who were doing things online, who were understanding how to use technology far more than I did. I talked to my teenage son, who also knew a lot more than I did. But honestly, when you get into a situation where you don't know what to do, simply find someone else who knows what they're doing, ask them questions. And that's really how I learned to do some stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, if you are looking for a seminar that has the really detailed, complex kind of understanding, I'm not that guy. I'm a simple guy, pastoring some churches and wanting to have an effective online presence for not a lot of money. And guess what? I've discovered that you can do that, and I'm hoping that this will be a help to you as well. The reality is this: you do not need to spend a lot of money in order to have an online presence. But I will say this: not having an online presence is probably more costly to you. So you really need to let people around you know that you're there. Years ago, many of us would understand that if you were new to a town, new to a community, how do you find out where to go to church? Well, you go to the yellow pages, right? Nobody uses the yellow pages anymore. They use Google. And so if they Google churches and your church doesn't come up, your church Facebook account doesn't come up because you don't have one, they're going to look elsewhere. Also, if they do Google your church and they come up with a website, and the last time that website's been updated was 5 years ago, they're also not going to be coming back. So you need to be able to be online, be up to date, and have something that looks professional. We're going to continue talking about that today. Have a professional presentation. And I do mean professional because there are certainly pastors, when the COVID pandemic hit, they didn't know what to do. They didn't have any skills as far as video. That wasn't what they were trained for in seminary. Totally understandable. But they also didn't take advantage of some technologies that were out there for them. And so they just used their laptop in their office, and they used the laptop microphone, the laptop camera. Well, that put out a product that really nobody wants to go back and see or hear that again, unfortunately. And there are ways that we can make that sound and look a whole lot better. Let's start with your website. As I said, if you're going to have a website, you certainly need to make sure that you're updating it. It's kind of like I think of it in the terms of, if somebody came to your church and the grass was about a foot high, probably people would think, wow, they really don't care too much about this property here. They don't care too much about this church. That's kind of the same way with your website. If the last time you updated your website was in the early 2000s, people are going to get the impression you don't really care about technology, don't really care about letting the outside world know what you're doing. So if you have a website, you're going to want to make sure that you keep it up to date. Now, as far as where to host a website. There are a lot of free websites that you can use: Wix, Hostinger, Weebly, WordPress, Strikingly. And I list these. I've looked briefly at some of them, but I personally use GoDaddy, and it's actually not free, but in my opinion, it's worth the money. This is one of those things that as we go along, I will mention certain products and certain price points for you. And you certainly simply need to make up your mind as far as what your church is budgeting to spend and what you think is valuable. Some things are worth paying money for. Some things, quite honestly, the free product is more than adequate. So, and we'll talk about that. But I use GoDaddy. It is not free, but they have tremendous customer service. I'm one of those people that I need to ask a lot of questions when it comes to putting together something. And I had to talk to GoDaddy, and I don't know how many times I called them, many, many times, answered every question, walked me step by step through all of the different challenges I had in getting the website up, and very helpful. So I highly recommend them, partially because their customer service is so great, but also their overall product is great. If you want to see what a website looks like that's done on GoDaddy, please go to troybaptistchurches.com. You will see our website, and you might get some ideas on how you want yours to look. And I simply use the templates that were offered by GoDaddy. You can do something very similar. You can also use different templates that they have and make your website your own. The GoDaddy plans, if you're interested in going that route, are anywhere from $6.99 to $13.99 a month. And I don't think that's a terrible amount of money to spend, but that's a discussion between you and your church board and your treasurer and your congregation. I highly recommend GoDaddy. Okay. And by the way, I get no money for saying any of that. GoDaddy is not hiring me to promote them. I'm just happy to do so because it's a good product. All right. You're going to need a website. You're going to have an online presence. Got to have a website. Facebook. I know that Facebook's kind of a tough word to say because many people don't like Facebook, and I completely understand. There's a lot of unfortunate things that happen on Facebook, and there are people who are very, shall we say, bold when they're at home in their grandmother's basement behind a computer screen saying all kinds of nasty things on Facebook. I get that. But one thing about Facebook is it's free and it reaches a lot of people. And a lot of those people that it reaches are in your community and they're watching. And so you have a free forum to post things and to share what your church is doing. It's free. You need it. You need to use it. Now, I would recommend you post all of your church information. If your church sneezes, it should be on Facebook so somebody can say God bless you in the comments. You need to post videos of your sermons there. If people want to know what's going on, what you're preaching, what your church is like, get it out there on Facebook. You honestly have no idea who might watch a sermon and give their life to Christ. They may never come to your church. They may be 5 states away, but they're watching. I had a situation just the other day where I was talking to a friend of mine I hadn't talked to in quite a while, and he mentioned something about, I really enjoyed your sermon 2 weeks ago. I said, what? He'd gone on Facebook, saw my sermon, watched it. You don't know who's watching, but you have a great opportunity to reach people. Post inspirational quotes. And by inspirational quotes, I would say scripture verses, right? Put the gospel out there. Be known as that church that posts stuff on Facebook that's uplifting and God glorifying, and you can do that. Post invites to church events. You're going to have a kids program, a trunk or treat. You're going to have a special music night, or simply just announcing your regular service times. Put that out on Facebook. Let people know that you're alive and well and you'd like to see them there. Share your posts in all your community group pages. So as an example, I film our service each week. I only post the sermon and some announcements as far as what's going on that week in our church. Little intro, little outro at the very end, letting people know we appreciate them watching and giving them the service times, locations, so they can come back and see us in person. But I post that on the Troy Baptist Facebook page. I post that on the East Troy Facebook page. I post that on about 3 or 4 Troy, Pennsylvania community forums, one on the Bradford County forum. There's a number of different group pages in your community that you can take advantage of and post what your church is doing. Do that, do it regularly. Additionally, share the gospel, not your political opinions. And I think that we shouldn't have to necessarily do this, but we do. We have to really limit as pastors what we say online, because if we put our political opinions, and it doesn't matter if your political opinion is right. I know you think it's right, and that's fine and good when you're having coffee with your wife at home and you're having that conversation. But when you post stuff politically online, what happens is there are people who now, because they don't like your political opinion, they are turned off to anything else that you have to say. And that includes the message of the gospel. We don't want to put any stumbling blocks in front of people that would hinder them from hearing the gospel. So be careful to share the gospel and not your politics. I always tell people, listen, it's not that I don't have political opinions. I've got strong ones, but I don't use the pulpit and I don't use social media to share those. Now, you want to buy me a cup of coffee? I'll talk your ear off and we'll talk politics. But all right. How about your camera? Now, the fact is, your laptop has a camera, and that's real convenient. It might be okay if you're doing a Zoom meeting and you really don't care how your presentation is and what you look like and all that. That's fine. Use that. But for what you're putting out that's representing your church, do not use your laptop camera. Now, as far as filming the service, you're going to want a camcorder and get a decent one. You don't need to spend a lot of money on this. Now, we have a Canon Vixia HF R800. Honestly, 2 years ago, that thing was a little over $200. Now it's up to $419. And that's about twice as much. And I don't like that, but it's still not a lot of money. We're not talking thousands of dollars. I think some people are hesitant to have an online presence because they think it's going to cost thousands of dollars. Well, it doesn't need to. And so I would encourage you to consider that as an option. It's a great camera, and that's one of several options, but probably something in that price range can get you a camera that's going to do a decent job. The only other thing I would add to that is be careful about, in a sanctuary, your lighting. Make sure you have enough light involved so that you get a good picture. All right. When you are using that camcorder in your sanctuary setting, you're recording either the whole service or just the sermon, you're going to want to use the sound feed from your PA system, whatever your sound system has. Take the mixer and run an out from your mixer directly into the camcorder when you're using the camcorder to record your service. It will make a far better product for you than using the camera that's attached to the camcorder. But certainly do not use a laptop microphone. Don't use the camcorder microphone either. Sound quality. Believe it or not, it's more important than video quality. We tend to think of when we're doing video, we got to get the best camera, and it's all about video. It's all about, man, how good does that picture look? Is it high def? Is it 1080? All this. Believe it or not, sound quality is more important than video quality. Found this quote online. Says, for any video company, the most important equipment investment for high quality production, ironically, has nothing to do with video. You can buy the most expensive camera in the world, and at the end of the day, audio will ultimately determine the success of a project. Isn't that interesting? The unfortunate reality is that bad audio can actually end up ruining a perfectly shot video. If the video has some visual flaws, slightly out of focus, overexposed, grainy, but the audio is balanced and clear, the production can still be a success and deliver an effective message to the audience. Just think about it. This video that you're watching right now has pretty good sound. I'm running an SM58 microphone, into this computer. We're going to talk in just a few moments about how to do something like that. Sound quality is good. I'm not that good looking. So you're already listening to something, and this video project is a success, even though what you're looking at doesn't look that great. Several studies have shown that if the audio in a video is medium to low in quality, no matter how great the visuals are, audiences are more likely to react negatively to the content, sometimes going as far as turning off a project because of its poor audio. My friend, if you are pastoring a church and you're promoting your church and you're putting stuff out on Facebook and on the internet and other social media places, one of the things that you desperately need and want is repeat viewers. You want people to come back. You want to put a sermon series out there, a 15-week series. You want people to listen and watch all 15 weeks, right? Make sure that your audio quality is sufficient so that people are not so distracted by the noise of a bad audio feed that they come back and watch again and again. So can't emphasize enough the importance of good audio, and good audio can happen at not a lot of money. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Let's talk about using your laptop. If you're going to use your laptop, you should use a good microphone and a good camera. Now, as I said, and I'm going to say it, I'm saying it now, I'm going to even say it a few more times, don't use your laptop microphone. There is a solution. You can invest in an audio interface. It will connect by USB to your laptop. And what it does is it allows you to take a good quality microphone that probably you have sitting around in your sanctuary for use on Sunday mornings, but take a regular microphone. I have a Shure SM58, which is pretty much an industry standard as far as microphones being used in a church setting. Grab that microphone. You can plug that right into this audio interface and then use that for doing audio recording with your laptop. Cost on that, $39.95. You know what? That's not a lot of money. And you're going to get an infinitely better sound using a quality microphone through the interface. So that's what it looks like. Now, you don't have to buy that one. I'm just showing you what I have. That's the exact model I have. Now, notice, not only does it give you the opportunity to plug a low impedance microphone cable into that unit, but it also gives you the ability to plug an instrument in there as well. So you might be recording a song for the praise team to practice, and you just kind of want a rough version of it so they get the basic gist of how that song goes. You can record you plugging your microphone cable in there and also your guitar in there, play that, record it. There's a number of uses that this thing has for you, but again, the value of it is that you are able to plug a microphone or an instrument directly into your laptop, get good quality sound. It also has phantom power, so if you have a condenser mic that you'd like to use, you can use that as well. All right. For your microphone option number 2, here is a lapel mic. When I first started out doing videos, I bought a $20 lapel mic. It was very similar to this, plugged it right into the laptop, and I immediately had sound that was about 1,000% better than the microphone that came with the laptop. I would certainly recommend something like that. You're probably saying, oh my goodness, I couldn't possibly afford to buy something like that. I bet you could for $25.99. Here is a camera option for you. You're going to want to have a good laptop camera. Again, something better than the camera that comes with the laptop. Here is a Logitech C920. If you're wondering, well, how good of a picture does that really give? Well, the video you're watching is using that camera. So that $70 camera will give you the quality that you're looking at on the screen now. Not that much money. Again, a far superior product than what the what the camera that comes with your laptop would give you. So as you can see, we're keeping the cost low here. All right. One of the next issues that we encountered as a church, we knew that we wanted to do videos, we knew that we wanted to post them online, but where did we want to post them? You need some sort of video hosting. So do you put them on YouTube or Vimeo? And that was definitely a discussion that our church had. Some people did not want a YouTube video to be showing commercials that we didn't really approve of or like. It's a legitimate concern. Vimeo doesn't have commercials, but you have to pay for Vimeo. YouTube is free, widely available. Now, and I want to emphasize the idea of this being widely available because that's actually pretty significant. One of the things about Vimeo is it's a wonderful product, but nobody knows where to find it. Nobody knows what it is. Almost anybody who has a smartphone has an app for YouTube. You buy a smart TV, guess what? It comes preloaded with a YouTube app. Roku has YouTube. If you pretty much anywhere you look in any context, you'll find YouTube. It's everywhere. And it's free and widely available. People know about it. They know where it's easy. If people can't find your video, they're only going to look a few times. They're going to give up quick. So YouTube is free, widely available. I like that aspect about YouTube. And so for me, I like to post our videos to YouTube. But I'm going to let you know, I prefer Vimeo when it comes to actually creating movies that I would use for advertisements. Vimeo has no ads. It does have a monthly fee, so it is a little more money. But depending on how much storage you need, what you want to use it for, you probably will find that it's very valuable. I find that Vimeo is a very valuable product to have. I recommend YouTube for posting your videos. I recommend Vimeo for making ads and videos. If you're using GoDaddy as a website service, it's very easy to post either Vimeo or YouTube videos directly to the website. Very simple. All right. How about online graphics resources? There are a number of them that we're going to look at, and they are things that you need. Okay, so you're constantly going to be using images, still images, as well as moving images. All right, and there are a number of good resources. The first one is, and I find this one, I would say this one's really an essential on churchart.com. Now, a number of years ago, I remember ChurchArt used to be something that you would subscribe to. They would actually send you a binder and CD-ROMs that you would input into your computer, and you could download you'd find the book and you'd find the graphic you wanted, then you downloaded the image. Now it's all online at churchart.com, and it's so easy to search for the images under whatever topic you're looking for. It's loaded with files that you can use in so many environments. And so for our church, we went to having PowerPoint slides for the whole service. So the bulletin, I print a bulletin, I have a paper bulletin, and then everything that's in the bulletin is also on slides on TV screens. I'm not going to get rid of the paper bulletins because I don't want to get fired. So I'm printing bulletins as well as making slides. Well, guess what? I use ChurchArt for both of those. If I want a bulletin cover image, ChurchArt's probably got it. If I'm making images that go along with my particular sermon and I need to incorporate those into the slides, I use ChurchArt. There are so many things that you can use the ChurchArt images for. Now, you're probably thinking that's going to cost just tons and tons of money. Well, it should, because it's very valuable. We're going to find out in a moment just how much it costs. What do you think? 20, 30, $50 a month? I mean, we're talking thousands of images used every week. Well, we'll see. PNG files, JPEG files, GIF, and other formats, all organized and easy to use, designed specifically for churches. And one of the things that they have now, which they couldn't have had in previous years, is they have an online editor where most of their images, if it has any sort of text on it, any writing, you can actually, on the website, before you download the image, you can edit the text and make it say whatever you want. So very useful product. Are you kidding me? $5.99 a month. Is that a typo? Well, I hope not, because I typed it. Worth every penny. $5.99 a month. You will get infinite use out of this resource, online graphics, and also graphics that you can download and use in printed materials. $5.99 a month. Again, I'm getting no money from churchart.com to promote their product, but I will tell you, I've used it extensively, and it is a wonderful product for you. Here are some examples. I just kind of randomly chose a few that were on there. These are all just examples of thousands that are available for you to use. And as you can see, they're all practical and based on things that you would use in your church, in bulletins, and in online settings. All right, now, how about free stuff? I know one of the things I say often is, if it's free, it's for me. Cheap is good, free is better, right? You shall download resources and they shall be free. Well, here we go. Here's some free stuff. And so I want to show you some resources that you may or may not have known exist that are actually free, believe it or not, and high quality. These are things that I use all the time. All right. Church Motion Graphics. If you haven't heard of this resource, I know that you're probably going to pause this video right now and ask your wife to bring you a pen, and you're gonna write down this website because you want to check it out. Well, I recommend all of that. churchmotiongraphics.com. Go online and you can click on there, give them an email, and sign up for free images. Now, these are background images that are the size for using in PowerPoint or Google Slides. I use Google Slides, same idea as PowerPoint. And they have, so for instance, you will find a set of probably 15 to 20 slide images that are in a package. They're in a set. They will all look relatively similar, but be different shades and different colors and varieties. Just as a example of that, right now you're looking at a blue background. That blue background came from churchmotiongraphics.com. In fact, all of the slides in this video are part of the same set. So you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about, that all of the different colors that you see, that you say, wow, that's a little different color in that slide, a little different color in that slide, but all kind of the same basic theme. That's how they're organized. There are over 6,000 images on churchmotiongraphics.com that you have free access to. So, and they're updated weekly with new ones. Highly recommend this resource. I highly recommend it, not just because it's free, but because it's high quality. These images are the size for PowerPoint backgrounds or Google Slides. Again, I could talk about Google Slides probably for a bit too, because I like them because they're free and easy to use, shareable with other people. And so that's my experience, but you might be a PowerPoint person, and that's okay. Canva. Here's another resource. Now, not all of what's on Canva is free, but enough of it's free that it's exceedingly worthwhile. There is a free version and a Canva Pro version. The free version is very extensive and very helpful. You can create all kinds of custom images. I probably could do a whole video just on using Canva. There is so much there, but I would encourage you to go on there and explore. You can use pre-made templates and edit them online. And when I say edit, I mean every variety of editing you can do, but many of them are pre-made. And so you'll look at a pre-made image that's advertising something. Maybe it's advertising hair care products. Okay. And you say, well, I can't use that. I'm not offering hair care. Well, but the layout of that template, you can switch out the images that apply to hair care and input the types of images that are going for what you're trying to promote. Many times the professional look of that template is something that you want to use and just interchange the parts. But once you've done that, you now have a high quality image that you can use, you can share a variety of different file types. Highly recommend Canva. Dan Stevers. Now, here's an interesting site. It used to be danstevers.com. Now it's storyloop.com, but even a search, Google search of Dan Stevers will pull his website up. But here you have all kinds of motion backgrounds, still images, background images, a bunch of free videos, very high quality products. Now, a lot of his stuff is not free, but again, he has a whole section of things that are free, and you will find some really wonderful things there. Now, what I have used is a number of their short videos and have incorporated them into some of the online worship services that I had posted. For instance, there is a wonderful video on Dan Stevers. Again, if you still have that pen and paper handy, write that one down. On the Dan Stevers website, there is one on the Lord's Prayer, and it is a very beautiful, visually beautiful, very colorful version of the Lord's Prayer as the words of the Lord's Prayer scroll on the screen, and they're constantly moving, and there's beautiful music in the background. That whole video is free, and it's the kind of thing that you can insert into a larger video of a worship service that you're making. Really useful, really professional, really helpful. I would encourage you to check out what he's got. In fact, here you go. Here's an example of one of those videos. Enjoy. All right, here's another one, Church Media Drop. Conveniently, their website is churchmediadrop.com. Included in their freebie section is audio clips, bumper videos, countdowns, games, logos, graphics, mini movies. Again, just yet another resource. It's free, and well, it has a free section on it, and great quality products, something that you can use and incorporating. Maybe you use some of this stuff in your slides during your worship service. Other options are for certain small movies, advertisements that you're putting out there on social media. These are a great resource. When you are making an ad, if you're doing a video, try to make it as short as possible. I know that, for preachers, we think that all of our content is essential, We think that we need that full hour and a half to preach. And if people don't like it, they must just be sinners. But there's only so much that our minds can consume all at once. And I think of in terms of length of an advertisement, I know for yard signs, if you're going to post something outside, you want people to read it as they're driving by in a car. You typically say if somebody can't read it in 3 seconds, they're not going to read it at all. So um, now part of that is because they're, cars moving at 45 miles an hour, but you get the point. You want to keep it as simple as possible. And really, with your things that you're advertising for the church, if you can get your content very simplified, short number of words, but put your web address on there. They can always go to your website and find out more information later on. But you want to hook them into the particular event or the particular message you're trying to send them. Give them the opportunity, if they're interested, to go to your website and find more. And then when they go to your website, make sure that they're going to have an updated website that looks professional and is going to give them the actual information that they're looking for. But in your videos, make them as short as you can. The longer your video, the less likely people are to keep watching it. If it's a still photo ad, limit the characters on it, the number of actual letters and words that you're putting on there. Again, keep it simple. I want to go back to something I mentioned a few minutes ago, and that's with Canva. One of the nice things about using Canva is you can let's say you want to make a Facebook post, but what size should a Facebook post be? Well, I couldn't really tell you as far as inches or centimeters or whatever, how big a Facebook post should be. But I do know that in Canva, I can click on create and it'll ask me if I wanted to make a custom sized image. I can do that. If I want to make a Facebook post, I type in Facebook post and it will immediately create a blank canvas that I'm going to edit that is exactly the size for a Facebook post. So if you're doing a still photo ad, you can go to Canva and make that ad exactly the size that it should be. Nice product. Say what you want, say it in as few words as possible. I know, easy for me to say. Here I am, I'm still talking. Making an ad with Canva. Again, choose the size, Facebook posts, PowerPoint, custom size, choose that background, a still background or a motion background, use a Canva template. One of the nice things about text that you put on a Canva ad, you can also animate the text. So for instance, you could have a Facebook post that's maybe a 5-second post where the image appears and then the text scrolls onto the image. It doesn't cost you anything. All of that is free on Canva and free to post on Facebook, but it makes a product that looks really interesting. Your background can be Canva stock images, or you can upload your own. I have found that there are many backgrounds and many images, shapes and things that are on Canva that I love to use, but sometimes I want to make an ad and I want to incorporate the image of the sanctuary or the outside of the church building, something in town. Well, I can take that picture of whatever it is and I can upload that, and Canva will make it real easy for me to incorporate that into the image that I'm making. Go ahead then and download that image or that video in the format that you need. Again, very simple, good quality, easy product to use. Now, here's an example of using a Canva. Now, sorry, but this is the kind of thing that I do. Sunday worship, 11 a.m., there will be snacks. A Veterans Day, you might want to have a Veterans Day out there. The freedom you fought for includes our freedom to worship for Baptist churches. These are images found on Canva, and text was able to be manipulated and adapted on Canva. All right. Making an ad with Vimeo, making a video on there. And this is one I have used many times, highly recommend. Again, Vimeo is not free, but I think it is very worthwhile. And to make a video ad with Vimeo, and this might be something that if you do In fact, get Vimeo. You're going to go back and watch this video and come to this point and look at this particular section. But open up the program, and on the top right drop down, you're going to see where it says new video or create video. Choose a template to work with. You can search by topic of types of videos. I've often found that I'll find a template that I like the way that it actually looks, not really caring necessarily for what product it's advertising, because again, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to change out the actual images and short videos, clips that are involved in that small movie that Vimeo has a template of. So choose a format size. Typically, they offer you a regular widescreen view or a square sized view. You can choose which format. Go ahead and edit your template. And again, you can customize the length of the videos segments in there, how many seconds somebody's going to be looking at something. You can add text, import any images or videos of your choice. You can then choose music for video. Vimeo has all kinds of royalty-free music that you can incorporate, so you have some sort of a background music in the video that you're making, and then you're able to save, download that, and take that video and run with it. Post that wherever you want. I have made videos that I incorporate into the. I make a short video before service at church, and it's probably a 2 or 3 minute video. There's everything in there from a welcome to the church, a personal note from me as far as what to expect in the worship. And I make several of videos on Vimeo that basically are announcement videos. Easy to make, they look professional, look sharp, and that's part of the video loop that is playing as people come into the church. The program does take some getting used to, but it is very useful. It's one of those things I would suggest. If you say, well, I'd really love to use that. I'm opening up Vimeo and I have no idea what I'm doing. My contact information will be at the end of this video. I do invite you to give me a call, and I would be happy to kind of walk you through some of these steps. And it is, as I said, it takes a little getting used to, but you know what? That's part of what you need to be doing, is asking questions and exploring, and you'll become a much better person online simply by exploring. And there's a lot to learn on Vimeo. I'd be happy to help you with it. Okay, let's talk about your church video. Now, this church video that I'm talking about could be you filming your whole service, or maybe just the sermon. You really need to make that decision. Do you want to record the whole service or just the sermon? We decided at first to put the whole service online, and some people really want that, particularly if you have a church that as we do, where we have a number of people that are kind of half the time here and half the time in Florida. When they're not physically in town and here, they kind of want to see the whole service, see all the stuff that they missed, and even the songs that we sang and all of that. So if you have a situation where your sound quality is going to be adequate, and by sound quality being adequate, I mean, if you're going to record the entire service, make sure that the entire service can be recorded adequately. In many instances, the sermon is able to be recorded adequately, because it's usually a person is recording through a pretty good microphone and it's just one vocal, not instruments. When you get to recording an entire service, and let's say you have a praise band, or maybe you have just an organ or something like that, make sure that the audio quality of what you're putting onto that video isn't going to distract people from watching the rest of the video. If it sounds bad, they may not even get to your sermon because they say, this sounds terrible. I can't stand listening to this. They're not going to listen any further. So you need to be careful. And as I said, I know that in a lot of instances, when you're recording in a church setting, what is used to record instruments isn't necessarily of the same level of quality as to the recording of the pastor's voice. So just some things to consider. Just remember that if the quality is bad, particularly audio, people will not watch. And by that, I mean new people, people in your community, people in the online situation, people who are already members of your church and they're just away on vacation, they'll watch. But I think you want to try to attract other people as well. So that's something to kind of bear in mind. The most important thing, I do believe, is the sermon. Obviously, we want the message of the gospel, the invitation for people to receive Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. We want that element to be recorded. That certainly is the most important, the regular faithful teaching and discipling of believers. You might also want to include, however, announcements, ways to give financially, redirect people back to your website. Those kinds of things can be included. You can actually do those in your office, making a video online and incorporating that into the video that you use to record the service. Or the message specifically. So that's entirely up to you. Those are some questions that you have to answer for yourself. If you have a logo, use it. Incorporate that into your video. And I would suggest too that you incorporate that into everything you do. Get your logo on hats and t-shirts, and do a lot of service work in town. Let people see your church people doing great things for the Lord, great things for the community. And let them see that logo on the stuff that they're doing, so that then when they see stuff online and they see your sermons and whatever else, they keep seeing that logo. They're making the connection of where they can find you and hear more about the Lord. Before you upload your service or sermon video to YouTube or Vimeo, put all the stuff that you're wanting to put together in one video. Either use iMovie if you're a Mac person, or Microsoft Photos if you have Microsoft type laptop. Use that service for putting together your whole video, finish that up, and then you're ready to post that to either your YouTube or Vimeo channel. And there are times I've posted stuff to Vimeo and then downloaded it from Vimeo and posted that to YouTube. You can do that as well. Put your slides together, finalize the video, upload your completed video, and share it on social media. All right, now, earth-shattering question: to stream or not to stream? As William Shakespeare said, that is the question. Well, we did start doing a Facebook live stream a while ago. When we first began to stream, we had a lot more views. And one of the problems we had with Facebook live streaming is that Facebook, unfortunately, sometimes can go in and go out. And so when Facebook goes down, the person running the audio video has to then restart everything. Well, what it was being recorded is lost. And so again, this is one of those things where if your streaming is prone to not work, people are going to stop watching it. And we don't want that to happen. So you want to put a product out there on a consistent basis that's working and looks good, and people can stay connected. What you may want to do is record the video of either the whole service or the sermon, whatever you've chosen to record, and then upload it to Facebook later. One of the things we found out was streaming on Facebook actually reduces the quality of your video. In my estimation, I would rather do a quality recording of the service or sermon and then post that onto Facebook. Now I have a product that's not going in and out. I know it because I recorded it offline, and then I'm able to upload that online, and I have a good product. Now, if you have people who are, well, we want to see something every Sunday at 11 o'clock when your service is, you can always run a week behind and have a video that you post at 11 o'clock on Sunday, have it be the previous week's sermon. Nothing wrong with that. And then people know that at a particular time each week, they have a service they can watch. Something for you to think about. Whether you stream or not, make sure the audio quality is good. It's one of those things I keep harping on, but it's because it's important. Make sure the audio quality that you're putting out there is good quality. You really want to bless your own congregation as well as potentially gain new viewers who could turn into new members. So this is where I would argue that it's while your congregation who is away, maybe in Florida, really wants to see the whole service, make sure that that doesn't in any way deter new viewers from watching. All right. Zoom. Now, Zoom is a product you may not have thought about. Most people only use Zoom for online meetings, and obviously it's known for that, very good for that. I use Zoom to make videos. My preferred format for doing Bible study videos is Zoom. And I don't use Zoom in the context of an online meeting. I don't have people online who are interacting. I don't do that. I, in fact, make videos where it's just me, a video of me in the corner, and I have made a PowerPoint template slide presentation where it leaves a spot for my video to be, and I put together a video. And by the way, you're watching a video that's done exactly that way. This video you're watching is done on Zoom. You can make a template in Google Slides or PowerPoint, then use Zoom to record the screen. You want to hit record, then share screen, and put yourself where you want on that PowerPoint template that you've made. It's a good product. How about PowerPoint? How about your slides? Your slides are important. Your slides are used a lot in presentations that you do. You want to make sure that they look good. You can use them with your entire service or maybe just your sermon. Again, as I said, when I do a service, everything that's in the bulletin is on a slide. And a couple things about that, you want to make sure, depending on the size of the TV screen, or maybe you use a video projector, whatever that people are viewing, make sure that the font size is big enough for them to see. And I know that seems like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised. You need to make sure that if you're sitting on the back pew of your congregation's sanctuary, can you read what's on the slides? And if you can, that's great. But make sure that the font is big enough. You don't want people straining or squinting to try to somehow see all the information on the slides. Oftentimes, I've realized that I just have too much information on a slide. So break it up. Break up that slide that's overloaded with text and split that into 2 or 3 slides. And that'll and change the font size so that it's a little bigger. That'll just make everybody happy. Use slides in the service, and then you can later import some of those into the video that you upload. The slide that said announcements on it can be incorporated into the video that you're going to ultimately put online. Depending on your equipment and your expertise, you can use the slides into your live stream. I've mentioned before, Google Slides is easy to use and it's free, and free is for me. Also makes Google Slides, it makes it easier to share your whole slide presentation with others. So another option for you. All right. Some closing thoughts. This is like when I'm preaching and I say, in conclusion. People seem to have a big smile when I say that. Anyway. You can have an online presence in a small church setting. There's no question about it. You do not have to spend a fortune. It's not a required. If you want to, there are products out there that will cost you a lot of money, and they'll look great, but you don't have to spend a fortune. And that's one of the things as a pastor I've always tried to be sensitive to, not putting an undue burden on the church budget that I don't need to. Ask questions. Honestly, ask questions. Even if I was going to say there are no stupid questions, sometimes there are stupid questions, but you know what? There's answers for those too. So ask questions. I felt many times when I was talking to friends of mine, pastor friends who really knew what they were doing, and I felt so many times like, man, this is a stupid thing to ask, and maybe it was, but they were patient enough and gave me good answers. And the only way you're going to find out is by asking. So ask questions, experiment, try new stuff, and that's how you're going to learn a lot of things. Talk to teenagers, talk to third graders. Remember that audio is more important than video. I should I say it one more time? Yeah, I probably should. Don't use your laptop microphone. All right. Ah, there it is again. Get a better camera than your laptop camera. Again, these are not expensive things. A laptop microphone, $26. $40 if you want to use a microphone you've already got, get an interface. Get a better camera than your laptop camera. That's a $70 purchase. These are not expensive items, but they make a world of difference in the product you're putting out there. Friends, work hard and do all things for the glory of God. That's why we do everything that we do. All right. Well, hey, I thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it's been useful for you. Please contact me. My information is on the next screen. Give me a call, send me an email. Let's get together. I'll be happy to help you out. God bless you.